Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. I have Erica with me from the Broken Spine for some reading sprints. Let us know in the comments if you're hanging out with us tonight. And I did a little looking and found a book that should do double duty for me for Tor.comAthon and the trans rights readathon because I'm doing
Nice.
both. So um, yes, I'm gonna be starting The First Bright Thing by J.R. Dawson. This doesn't come out till June, so I probably wasn't gonna read it until a little later, but the author is non-binary. It's a Tor
Mhm.
novel. So it says it's a debut for fans of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and the Night Circus.
Oh,
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Could be fun.
I like the cover.
Tale of yeah, looks cool. So what are you working on this evening?
So I have a lot. I have no idea what I'm going to start. These are four books. So the same thing with like the trans rights readathon. Actually, I think this one too. Yeah, all three.
Mm,
So
nice.
Empress of Salt and Fortune, which Tammy from Tammy Tries to Read told me many moons ago to read.
It's so good. It's really good. Don't
um, the group book.
yeah.
Um, and in the Watchful City.
Nice.
So, and surprisingly, I have audios for all of them. So while
That's
I'm
great.
doing laundry, I won't miss a beat.
I love it.
Yeah. So hopefully, I can get through at least two of these, however long we spread. You know,
Okay.
I'm close to two.
That's great. Yeah, I just finished my reread of even though I knew the end. I think I liked it even better the second time. I liked
Yeah.
it the first time, but yeah, I just think it's a really good novella.
I've been thinking about buying the book because I've heard so many great things about it, and I
Hmm.
don't have anything by C.L. Polk.
Oh, I like their stuff. You know, I actually just also read The Midnight Bargain by them, and I
Okay.
loved it. It was so
Really?
good. It's not a tour book, but it's yeah, it's
I've
like a historical fantasy romance kind of, but
mhm,
it's very much also feminist and about like bodily autonomy, and it's interesting.
okay. I've heard really good things about them, but I just, slow to pick it up because I have so many
It's
other
fair.
books.
I can understand that.
And I just bought 2 more today. I went to a used bookstore and I bought 2 more books.
Oh, nice. What'd you
Well,
get?
um, Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together?
Oh, okay.
And, The Personal Librarian, they're hardcover. It's a hardcover.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, oh! I couldn't pass it up. I don't know where I put it. That goes to show you I have too many books. Um, but it looks like it's never been read, and it's a hardcover, and it was only $4.
That's
So
great.
yeah. So, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy it."
Mhm, mhm. I would have
So,
too. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So,
Yeah.
even if I don't like it, I'm not gonna be upset.
No, 4 that's great. $4?
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Beth. Hello, the exhausted flamingo. Hi, hi, hi. We've got a lot of people here tonight. Hello, reading Warbreaker or maybe The League of Gentlewomen Witches. Sound like some good options. Keep starting things and putting them down. Oh, that's rough.
I feel that.
It's fair. I mean, I do have several books that I'm reading at the same time, but what
Yeah.
else is new?
Me too, and I have finished the only thing that I finished is my book giveaway.
Oh,
That's it. It's been such a rough reading month for me.
that's hard. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully we can
And
get some stuff done tonight and, you know,
I have faith in you.
yes,
For
trying to get through
Hudson.
3 books due by the 31st. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, $4 required for sure. I just finished the group book and immediately wanted to reread it. Yes, because thought I would only like it more. I liked it more the second time. Felt the same about Empress of Salt and Fortune last year. It's a really good one too. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it. Hello, Kelly. Might start Arch Conspirator. Oh, good. I hope you enjoy it. Awesome. Want to finish Rules for Vampires? Okay. And maybe some stories from Africa Risen. I want to see some reviews of that because the cover is beautiful
Yeah, it is.
and
I haven't heard much about it. I've
me
seen
either.
it
Hmm.
a lot, but haven't heard much about it.
Yeah, I'm interested. Gonna do some cleaning and maybe finished Horror Store and Our Wives Under the Sea. Nice. Love it. Solid lineup. Um, oh, goodness, I feel like it was a long day.
Yeah. Oh, no, I did finish 2 other things.
Mm, look
Uh,
at that. You're having a better month than you realize.
but am I? Because I didn't remember that I read them. I read Comfort Me with Apples. Have you read that?
No, because I don't know if her writing is for me.
It was it was interesting.
I
I
yeah.
I didn't dislike it.
Mhm.
I started to get annoyed/bored with it towards the end because it got super Christian heavy.
Oh, interesting. I haven't so I've read something from her that I did not get on well with, and it seems like people either love her writing or don't really like it. Like, and something about her writing style, like, I don't think works well for me, but I have heard some people say that they really loved Comfort Me with Apples. I don't think my brain likes her writing.
Yeah, I was okay with it up until
Okay,
that part.
that's interesting. We have somebody who did love Comfort Me with Apples, love short horror. I can like short horror. It just
Yeah.
depends on like, yeah. Oh, and then I woke up as an interesting book. That is a very interesting novella. I liked that. Speaking of short horror, it's
Okay.
it's yeah, it's like a dystopian horror kind of. Which one would I recommend? Gideon the Ninth or Siren Queen? I mean, they're very different books, so it really depends on what you like. Um, Siren Queen is all vibe, not all vibe. It's a lot of vibes. Glamorous old Hollywood with dark fae sort of magic and sapphic. I mean, they're both sapphic, I guess. Gideon the Ninth is kind of brash, tongue-in-cheek humor with a really strong personality leading the story that I think if you like Gideon, you'll love it. If you don't like Gideon, you won't. And it's got a lot of horror, like body horror and murder mystery, like closed circle murder mystery elements, but in like a sci fantasy space thing with necromancy. So, like, those are very different books. I love both of them, but hopefully that maybe will help you pick one of them depending on which one sounds like more your thing. They're both strong flavors, I will say. Like, I love both, but I also understand why there are people who hate both of them. So,
I was gonna put Siren Queen on this, on Tor.com-athon
mhm,
TBR, but I was like, "No, I'm gonna do shorter reads because that's kind of like what I'm in." I've been reading a lot lately
mhm,
since the days of COVID. I can't seem to wrap my head around long stories.
mm.
So, but
I mean,
one day.
I yeah, I think whatever's working for you is good. Trying to get through the group book. I like it, but I really want to reread them and make your own successes. Yeah, that's a good one. That's fair, Beth. It's fair. I've read the book for the month and I loved it. Yay! And everything else is on hold at the library. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's see. Gonna try and make progress in or finish Rock Bottom Girl. I feel like I spammed the Discord with my gushing for that. It's okay. I saw it and I'm glad there were people who also were excited for you. That's what it's there for. Um, yeah, I have not started this yet, so we'll see how it goes. It's what this is like circus books are hit and miss for me. So
Mm,
it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like either I'll love this or it'll just be okay. We'll see. But it's a debut. So I'm gonna
so
try.
your okays, just out of curiosity, are star rating. I don't really do
2.
star ratings. Twos?
2.
Okay.
A
Okay.
2. Like, okay is a 2-star.
Okay. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not bad. That's not bad.
Like, I'm not expecting to hate it. Like, that would be
Mhm.
surprising to me. But it's
Okay.
like, is it gonna be like 1 star is like, I hated it. But I don't know if it's something where I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, it's okay," or middle of the road, or I love it. I don't know. We'll see. So,
Okay.
yeah. Um, might go with Gideon. Okay, cool. Yeah, I figured describing them might be helpful because they're such different books, you know? I guess I'm just here for the sprints and vibes tonight. Fair enough.
That's good.
Fair enough. Yeah. Sometimes Tor has stuff like an ebook you can download for free. Like they have like an ebook club.
Yeah. I've read, I think River Solomon has a couple. I might be lying about that. I know they
Okay.
have one. Um, but they have like several, they have a bunch of short stories
Hmm.
that you can get.
Oh,
So,
that's cool. River Solomon's great.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I like it too. It's from Rub Dolls. It's like a cropped shirt. And I have like teal overalls with it. It's fun. I've been like, I don't know, doing more with style stuff and finding companies that make clothes that actually fit all different kinds of bodies that I like. So,
And that's, I was reading Beyond the Gender Binary. Um
mhm,
and that's what they were talking about. Like wearing clothes that make you feel like your authentic self and just obviously being allowed to be your authentic self. Um, but that they had gone out, they were in New York and they had to go to the grocery store and it was chilly. They had on a dress and something else and a full beard and they went out and people were like, "Look at him." And they were like, "Who are they referring to?" And then they finally realized that they were talking about them. But it was just the point was wearing what you feel comfortable in
mhm,
and being true to yourself for that
mhm.
part. So, anyways.
I think that's good. I think, I think it's something where I'm finding that now.
Mhm.
Uh, I think that's one of the things that can be hard, and I've heard other people talk about this too who grew up similarly. I think especially like for people who grew up in like purity modesty culture and then even more so people who grew up who were more like plus size in the 90s or whatever. Like there weren't a lot of options. And
Yeah.
so, like if you normally people would be experimenting with stuff like in their teens and early 20s maybe, and I just think because of that I had a lot less range of what was available. Um,
Yeah, and as a tall girl who's mostly legs,
yeah.
um it's really hard. Like, you don't have that range.
Mm-hmm.
especially growing up. You don't have that range.
Yeah.
Um, and then to go to specialty shops, it costs like 2 arms and 3 legs.
Right.
So it's gotten better. It has. So good for us, right?
Yeah. Well, and hopefully good for like the next upcoming
Yeah,
generation of people, you know. Hopefully there'll be more
absolutely.
options.
Yeah. So look,
Yeah.
you can only get better. I was getting ready to say you can only get better.
That's not true.
I take that back.
If only, if only.
It doesn't seem like that right now.
No. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
Yeah.
gosh. It's so depressing. So
No.
depressing.
Yeah. No, but
But
it's fun. It's like I
yeah.
like playing. I think it's fun to play with stuff. And also like the rules that I was taught as like,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, because of your body, here is what you should and shouldn't wear." I have now thrown
Yeah.
those out and like
Yeah.
it's great. Like I used to wear a lot of black all the time because like what, it's
Uh,
supposed to make you look thin? Like no you don't.
you
It
don't.
does you don't. And also like why? So I wear a lot of black. I hardly ever wear black anymore occasionally, but
Yeah.
like no, I like color and I don't
Black
know.
really isn't I don't know why people said that because
I don't
black
know.
is not slimming. It's just black.
Yeah. Also, it's just weird to me because I'm like, also that's just not my goal anymore. I'm like, I want to wear things
Yeah.
that make me happy, that I'm comfortable in, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
One of my
yeah.
one of my coworkers, because I love flannel,
I like
and
yeah.
one of my coworkers, I did not wear a flannel top that day, and she was like, "No flannel?" And I was like, "No, I decided not to wear flannel today." And if they made summer flannel, I mean, real summer flannel, not that cheap stuff that
Yeah.
pass off, I would be in that too. So, because I'm just a flannel girl.
Hey,
So,
like what you like.
exactly.
I think that's great. That's so funny. Um, let's see. Have yeah, you know what? You're right, Ursula. I haven't seen an ebook in my inbox in a while either. I don't know if it's still going or not. That's a good question. Beth, I've been picking up manga and graphic novels. Amazon has a bunch of volume ones for free. Oh, cool. Like the digital ones? Good to know. That's great. Hey, I don't know if you're still here, but hello. I got Berserk, Will Chat Atelier, Monsters Vinland Saga. Oh, that's great.
Oh,
Yeah, go check that out, y'all, if you're into that. I feel like the selection has gotten some better. Growing up fat, everything that fit well was like adult woman business style, not the vibe at
yeah.
12. Yes. Like I'm like, tell me why in some of my like fancy pictures when I was in 8th grade, I look like your church secretary. Like I just not this is not this is not the vibe we want.
No, no, not at 12
No.
as a church secretary.
Listen, there were not a lot of options.
And I have to admit, being tall at 12, I'm using your age,
Yeah.
being tall at 12, I had the same problem. So I feel that pain
Yeah.
because I was too skinny for, like, teenage clothes for some reason.
Mhm.
But for some reason, I could fit adult clothes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
even, like, the petite adults, like, I could wear that. Yeah, you're right. It's abs you look like you look like a mini adult.
Yeah.
You were the mini me
Oh,
of your parents.
it was not a good time for having, like, not a super specific body type,
Yeah.
especially at that point. Always yeah, went shopping in boys and men's sections because things fit better. That's interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, which may or may not be what you want. That's hard.
Right.
Used to wear hoodies and oversized jackets to hide your body as a kid. Yeah. because God forbid someone see I have a gasp body. Yeah. Listen, it's a long journey to like, and I think, a lot of people now are aiming at least for body neutrality, if not positivity, but it's like it's a long journey to learn to just like be okay with yourself how you are and love your body for what it is. And like also I think just like I don't know. I think I'm also getting older
Mhm.
and I I just I don't care as much, and also, like, I do things for me. I don't do things for other people anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I dress how I want because it's what I like. Like, I wear makeup when I feel like it because it's fun and artistic. Like, I don't do things for other people.
Right, right. As well you should not. It's exhausting.
Yeah. And and then and why? I don't know.
Yeah,
I just think I just don't care. I'm gonna do what makes me happy and people can deal with it.
and if
If
they
they have
think yeah,
because if people have a problem with that, like, that is a them problem, not a me problem. Like, that says
right.
more about them than anything else,
Yeah.
so whatever. I'm doing this 100-day dress challenge currently. Having to take a picture of myself daily has helped me see my body and accept myself. I love that.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
really
idea.
great. That's really cool. Yay. In the 2000s, it always felt like everyone but a size 0 was not skinny enough. If you were just curvy, you were fat. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Accurate, for sure. 5 feet 8 inches in the 8th grade. Whew, yeah, that's rough being tall. Hi, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Welcome. Tiny until my 40s and had to shop in children's and juniors. Wow. Then I gained a lot of weight and had to dress like my own grandmother. Now wear what I want and can find more. Yeah. I just think there's more options. There's been a
Yeah,
lot of push for like size inclusivity, and yeah, there are some really good companies out there doing good work. No, oh no, Emily. I look older in my high school senior year picture than I did when I turned 40.
oh, no.
Oh no. Uh, yeah,
That's
that's rough. Yep. Listen, you can have
wow.
a glow up. Yeah.
I don't know. It's very important. Like I said, I'm a flannel kinda girl, but
Mhm.
put me in a pair of sweats, I'm happy. Like, skipping
Yeah.
around town.
Yeah, I like loungewear, but I also think, you know what I'm discovering? Like, I think this year also is going to be my year of doing jumpsuits because I thought for a long time I couldn't wear them.
Oh, no.
And I've found some that I love and they're super comfortable.
I love jumpsuits. I and overalls, all of those. I love those.
Yes,
I
I'm
I
doing that, and, like, crop tops too, I'm,
yeah,
like, figuring out how to, like, do so it's fun, it's like I'm like, "Okay, I can if there's, like, a style that I wanna try, I can do it." Yeah,
it's
love
just
jumpsuits, they're so comfy.
yeah, it's just really hard for me to find those things.
Right. Yeah, need to find them with a long torso, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a 32-inch inseam. So, I mean, okay, it's like thundering here.
Wow,
I didn't expect that.
interesting. Such a range of styles, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I guess we've been talking for a bit. Do we want to do a sprint?
Yeah,
Okay. I know time thing. I know some people like to do super long sprints. I don't.
that's you what's what's your poison, Bethany?
Okay.
I can go if you do a super long sprint, I'll
Hmm.
probably fall asleep. Just
Okay.
know that.
I'm thinking like 30 minutes is
Okay,
like solid for me.
that's
I
good.
always get people out doing like, do 45, do an hour. I'm like, no, it's too much. I can't.
I mean, at 45, I cap it at 45.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Cool. cool. So we'll do 30 minutes this together. Anybody wants to pop in the comments what you're going to be reading? Can talk about that before we start. There we go. We'll do the Pomodoro Kitty. It meows at the end, so heads up for anybody who hasn't used this timer before. I think it can startle you if you're not.
Yeah. The first time I heard it, it does startle you every time. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I usually get startled by it too. So yeah, so I'll be starting First Bright Thing by Jared Dawson. Anybody else? What y'all reading?
I don't
You
know
know what you're going to start with?
I
Okay,
don't.
cool. Hoping to
One of
finish
the
Under
two.
the Whispering Door. Nice. I know some people commented earlier what they were reading, but we've had people join since then, so. I'll read for 30 minutes in bed. I don't take electronics to the bedroom. Okay, reading Mimicking of Known Successes. Yay. I love all the people picking that up. That one's such a good one. Reading A Great and Terrible Beauty. Need a gaslight fantasy for a tropical readathon. Okay. Nice. Yeah, a lot of people have been commenting on my video talking about this, saying that they would like to see me do a reread, even if it doesn't hold up. So I'm thinking about it. I loved that series when I was younger. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow from the library. Nice. Gonna be reading a podcast on the new episode of Yellow Jackets.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. Works. Probably Gideon. All right. Cool. Like solid lineup of things. All right. Well, let's go ahead and sprint for 30 minutes and then I will see y'all back here.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
How'd everybody do?
I can't find my earbuds, so
Oh, no.
I only read one chapter. Only what? How many pages? I don't know, 7 pages.
Okay.
So,
What did you start with?
and
Nice.
yeah, so
Oh,
just literally finished chapter 1.
awesome. Yeah, I read a little bit. It's interesting. We'll see. I'm I feel like it's slower going at the beginning as I'm trying to kind of make sense of like the world and the characters
Mhm.
and whatnot. But yeah, it's like set in alternate early 1900s. Like part of it is set in like during World War One, and then part of it's like the 1920s.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. We'll see. See how
Okay.
I get on with it.
That's
Um,
the first I always find like the first part of the book is always like kind of sketchy.
yeah, I feel
Until
like
you're like,
you're just trying to like acclimate to like what's
yeah.
going on. Yeah. Yep. How did everybody do with your reading? Hello, hello. Yeah, people always think it's their cat. I don't have one, so I was like, what? Cat.
Oh no.
Admired the cover of Gideon. Progress. Love
Okay.
it. Okay. Yeah.
Getting closer to reading it.
Yep. That's funny. Yeah. We'll see. I will say, like, this has some dark, like, I think this is going to be darker than I was expecting. Because it seems like there's people who've got a history of, like, abuse and stuff. So we'll see what it does with it. I don't know.
So what is it supposed to be about? Did you say that? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
It's like a circus book, sort of, but
Okay.
fantasy.
Okay.
So the idea is that like sometime during World War One, I don't know a lot yet of like exactly, but the sparks appear. So like some people gain different magical abilities, I guess. And in the 1920s, there's like this magical circus that travels from place to place, run by some of these people, and the ringmaster is married, like her is like this middle-aged woman, and her wife is one of the like acrobats, but she's hiding from her past that's dangerous, and like, so I don't know. We'll
So
see.
and you said it's like the night circus and the
They're comparing it to like the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and the Night Circus.
okay.
So
I've not read either one of those. I wanted to read The Night Circus when it first came out
mhm.
and just never did and then lost interest in it.
I don't know, both of them were books that I liked but didn't love, although I kind of want to try The Night Circus again because I loved The Starless Sea by that author so much that I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe if I tried it again I would like it better. So I don't know, we'll
I
see.
don't know. I saw it at the bookstore today and I was like, maybe. Because
Mhm.
it keeps like coming up like a maybe
Yeah,
thing.
I think a lot of people really love it a lot. Um,
I've heard it.
so
I've heard a lot of people really love it.
it's a
Really.
lot of, yeah, it's another very vibesy book, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Oh, Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandela. That's great. It's weird. but I loved that.
I started to pick that. It came into the library, and I started to pick that up. Well,
I really, yeah, it is. It's like, it's weird, but I don't know, it worked for me. Ate dinner and read 10 minutes. Nice. You do not have to read a tour book to be on the sprints. It's okay. Some people are reading other things. I'm reading a tour book. We're reading tour books. So have 2.5 chapters left in the book. Nice. I never know. Oh yes, she wears sunglasses. Gideon. Yep, they're great covers. I need to stop trying to remember the Antigone story and just try to follow whatever the story she's telling. Yeah, I mean, it does follow the plot beats of the Antigone story anyway, so I wouldn't be too concerned, but I get that. I got through a couple chapters of Warbreaker, knocked out a couple chapters. First Sanderson, and I wasn't sure I'd feel, but it's very readable. Yeah, I mean, honestly, his prose is readable. Like, it's not difficult. I think he's very, very accessible. Interesting. Last 200 pages of his books are super fast-paced. Hi, Valerie. Yes, reading Heart Haunt Havoc. Okay, nice. How are you enjoying it? I really liked that one. I read that for the Transrates Readathon too. Have you heard of this, Erica?
I have not. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't know. I see a lot of book covers, and I will read what they're about, but I don't necessarily commit the books to memory.
Yeah.
So
This
I
is from an
can't.
indie author. And I've seen a lot of people picking it up for the Transrates Readathon, but I really liked it. It's like a gothic horror novella with
Okay.
like Catholic kind of undertones and an erotic romance subplot
Okay. I feel
with
like I've
like
seen
a
the cover.
trans character and a non-binary character. I really liked it.
I feel like I have seen this cover.
Hmm.
But when you said haunted gothic, I was 100% on board. I don't care. Any you don't have to tell me anymore.
Perfect. Yeah.
Like
It's like, yeah, it's great. So it's this like non-binary witch who hires this trans man to come and help get rid of the ghouls in her house.
uh-huh.
And there's a romance between them, but also the house is partly being haunted by the spirit of her ex-husband.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
Well, we're just gonna go ahead and add that to our list.
nice.
Um, and we're gonna see if the library has it.
Yay.
Okay. There's another book by this author that Audrey from Perpetual Pages,
Yes.
Exodus,
Yeah.
and I cannot find that book.
Well, so they're self-published.
Okay.
So it might be hard. I don't know if a lot of library systems have them. I will say the Exodus one I also read, and it like I think it's really interesting and it's well done. It was just like less my thing. That one is much more erotic romance, like very heavily sort of erotic monster romance but with like churchy stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Like it was really interesting and I liked what they did with it. It just but like some of the specifics I'm like this is not my thing specifically. But Heart Hunt Havoc I like because it's more gothic horror
Mhm.
with some of the like erotic romance stuff of it. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So
Yes.
maybe you could try them, but like they're just very different.
Okay. Okay, and I'm not a romance girly, but
Yeah, so if then I would suggest probably doing Heart Haunt Havoc,
okay.
which I think is excellent, but is like less heavily the romance piece.
Okay.
Um, it still has it, but it's not like the whole thing. But popping in for 30 minutes reading Mimicking of Known Successes. That is a popular one for this readathon. I'm loving it. It's a good one.
For tour or for
Yeah, for Tor.comAthon. Well, I guess you could, yeah. Yeah, for Tor.comAthon. It's good. Sci-fi, sort of like feels kind of like a home like Holmes and Watson sort of ish setup, but sapphic on another planet with like a mystery thing. It's kind of fun. Joining in reading Priory of the Orange Tree. Nice.
oh,
Yay, Valerie's loving it. 50%. Okay, cool.
I almost got that book. See, I know book
Oh.
covers,
Hmm.
but not
Yeah.
novels.
What they're about. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I know. So,
Okay, have a good night.
have a good night.
Yay, I'm glad people are enjoying this. It looks like it's supposed to be a series, which I would love it as a series. I think the characters would be really fun to follow for future investigations. I like the idea of like I'm liking this like sci-fi mystery thing. It's kind of fun.
There was when I was doing my research, and I would have to go back to the website. There was one that really caught my attention, and it
Mhm.
was just purely because of the cover. And I read it. I was like, "Oh, this sounds interesting," but I couldn't find it at the library.
Uh,
So, and by the way, thank you, Bethany, for asking me to be a co-host. I should have
oh
like
yeah,
said that earlier.
no, for sure. What is this? So how does an erotic novella it depends. So, like, it depends on the author. Like, sometimes there's buildup, sometimes there's not. It
Okay.
depends. I think this one does have buildup. It's just that, like, the period from getting from here to here is shorter than in a full-length novel. So, I have read books where like pretty much right almost like right away something's going on, but like this one there was some build up. That's really funny. I started mimicking, but the writing was yeah, that's fair. Yeah, the writing of mimicking of known successes is a little bit unusual. I think you kind of have to like get into the flow of it, and once you do, I think it's good. But she does have kind of um, a different tone or style of writing, I guess. I don't think it's bad. I just think it just takes a little getting used to, but I think once you get into it, it's fine. Um,
There are so many when I was looking at the books for the readathon. It's like there's so many that I want to read.
yeah.
I was like, I gotta start with what's on my shelf.
Yes.
And mind you, I have lots, but
Hmm.
none of them are the ones that I'm reading.
Of course.
They're all I pulled some of them off,
Hmm.
but none of them like what oh my gosh. What is it? Oh my gosh. I have it on my shelf. Oh, bugger.
What are you trying to think of?
It's a chunkster. Oh my gosh. I
What does
can't
the
think of
cover
it.
look like?
It's black. Um,
A tour title?
yeah.
Is it middle game?
No. It's oh, I can't remember.
I'm trying to think like black.
I
Does
would have
what's
to
on it?
I would have to get up and go see. Oh, trap myself in the chair. I'm gonna go look because now
Okay.
I'm curious. So
Okay.
I'll be right
Sounds
back.
good. All right. I'm curious too. Oh gosh. Yeah. Hey Renee, welcome. You're all good. We've did one sprint so far. Erica's going try to find this book.
Just a memory called Empire.
Oh, I love that duology so much.
And I started to read it. I started to pull that one, but I was like, that's a little bit too long for me to read.
Yeah,
Um,
it's kind of dense. Like the
yeah,
writing is, I love it, but it's not a light read.
that's also what I've heard, and like all the other things that I wanted to read this month outside of the tour books.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't have. I know I wouldn't have like the brain capacity
Yeah,
to read all of that.
fair enough.
So
Yeah. Uh,
you know,
I'm already like thinking about April. I'm so excited for April.
what's happening in April?
I just have a lot of books on my TBR that I'm like very hyped to read.
Okay.
So, which doesn't always, I mean, I always have stuff I'm looking forward to, but I filmed my TBR and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for a lot of these. It's more than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I don't do TBRs
Hmm.
anymore just because when I used to, the likelihood of me reading at least 2 books off of that was a miracle. So,
Fair
I just I was just like, "Don't do it."
enough.
Don't do
I'm
it."
better than that. Like, I don't usually get to all of them, but like a solid number of them. Plus, it's like
Yeah,
how I talk about like read along as I'm doing and stuff. So,
yeah, I
yeah.
don't because I just and it's not that I'm a mood reader, it's just like I put it on the TBR and then, yeah, I feel obligated to read it, and then that just takes the excitement or the joy
Mhm.
out of, like, reading it, so as a result, I
Mhm.
don't. So,
Whatever works for your brain.
yeah, I don't know. Right
Yeah,
now, my brain is not on in top tip-top shape, so
it's all right. Let's see. Yeah, I think Arcady Martin is coming out with a new book this year. I don't think it's in the same world, although I have heard whispers that in a couple years we may be getting another Tex Cologne book, which is very exciting. It's- I really want more in that world. I think I may have to abandon bingo. I really want to finish the group book next, then pick up Witch King. Oh, I want to read Witch King. I don't have it yet, but I want to get it. It's the new Martha Wells book.
yeah, I I like the cover. I need to read, the Murderbot series, and
Oh, they're so fun.
I thought here was my thought
Mhm,
process.
mhm,
I was like, "You know what? I want to read the Murderbot series. So why don't I read the Murderbot series for Tor.comAthon?"
mhm,
I was like, "That's a brilliant idea." Then I started to look for the books,
mhm,
and between all of the libraries that I belong to,
mhm,
there was, like, 1 book missing. Like, I could get all of the books somehow, some way,
mhm.
but 1 particular book, nobody had it. I was like, "How is this possible?"
Oh
And
man.
it wasn't like the last one,
Yeah.
the one that was right in the middle or something like that.
Oh yeah. That's
It was like
frustrating.
number 4 or 5.
Mhm.
Nobody had it. I was like,
Hmm.
"No, you're messing
Well,
me up
you
here."
well, I mean, you could also like start it because they actually all read kind of as standalones
Okay.
to a certain extent. Like they all have. I mean, you kind of need to read the first book at least, and some
Mhm.
of them are useful to read. I mean, I guess they're useful to read in order because there's some degree of context, but like they kind of are semi self-contained stories once you kind of know the world
Okay.
and the characters and stuff. So, but yeah, I love them. They're so good.
Well, that's good to know.
And I think All Systems Red is usually on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah,
So,
I got that.
mhm.
I do have that. So, I just didn't want because I'm trying to be frugal.
Mhm.
It's not working out very well, but
I
anyways,
don't know. Well, I'd also, I mean, I don't know if do you use Scribd at all?
I don't.
Okay.
Um,
Because I don't know if they still are, but all of the audiobooks used to be on Scribd. I should see if they're still on there.
oh, okay. I mean, I could, because they're not long,
Oh no, they're very quick.
could still pull it
Yeah,
out.
they are.
Okay.
Yep, the audiobooks are all on Scribd.
Because they're what, maybe 2, 3 hours? Well, not sped up.
Well, one of them is one of the books is a full-length novel. Most of
Okay.
them are novellas, but yeah, I mean they're like, let's see. The first one is like 3 hours and 17 minutes. So, like,
So like an hour.
basically, yeah. 3.5 hours for the second one. Yeah, I mean, so they're pretty short. There's only one that's like a full length.
Okay.
Um, and
So that's
yeah.
like a listen on the train ride into work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. I will check it out.
Yeah, they're fun. Let's see. Go between extremes in January. Read almost all the books on my TBR. Nice. In March, I've read a lot of tour books, but none of the ones on my TBR. Yeah, March, I've read a lot on my I mean, I always read a lot on my TBR, but there are some things that I kind of dropped because I was like, hey, we're going to do the Transroads Readathon. And so
Yeah.
that's a week of, you know.
I did that too because I was like, I want to participate. I didn't do an announcement or anything like that, but I am going to be like for every book that I read, I'm going to donate to the Whitman Walker Clinic here.
Oh, great.
Um, and there's a bookstore, Loyalty Books, that's independently run, Black owned, queer owned, woman owned. So they are also donating to the Whitman Walker Clinic as well.
That's great.
So if you're interested, if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend that you check out Loyalty Books, just because it's a good bookstore, and Little District Books because they are a queer owned, recently opened like within the last year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and I'm excited because it's the fundraiser that I'm doing is going pretty well. We're at like $585
Yay
raised,
you.
which is
Yay
really
you.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Callan Lord Community Health Center. I'm aiming for 1,000, so we'll see if we can get there. But
You're almost there. I mean,
yeah,
even if you
even
don't,
if we don't, it's still
that's
great.
still a good dollar amount.
Yeah, no, I feel really good about that. And I'm donating um, for the books that I read too. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
exciting.
So I am trying to read like for both Tor.com and um the
Yeah,
Trans-Readathon.
yeah,
So
yep. Same. Trying to do a little bit of both.
it's 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 not hard, by the
No,
way.
it's really not. There's a lot of books that count for both.
It's not hard.
Hmm.
And I think for me, I don't know for you, but because and I hate to say this, I when I was going through my owned books, I don't have a lot of authors that are trans,
Hmm.
that are strictly identified as trans.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow. And you read like a lot, but that's one thing that I don't have a whole lot of. So I need to look into like making sure that I am.
Yeah.
And it like when you're looking for this stuff and then you like really realize that you read it, but you don't read it, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that like the more you're aware of what like what your own habits actually are, the more you can kind of tweak stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but there's a lot out there, which is good. Yay! Oh, you finally started Murderbot for the readathon. That's exciting. Hope you're enjoying it. Question, I don't know if you'll know the answer. Do you know why which king won't show up on Waterstones when it comes out in May? Does it come out in May in the UK or just in the US? Because sometimes there are different release dates depending on the country.
And sometimes the publisher is different.
Yeah, that too. I love this. I had so much fun with book one. I almost bought the whole series. That's great. Yay. Yeah, Beth, it helps to read 1 and 2 first of Murderbot, but then you can kind of skip around if you need to after. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Oh, hey, everything but 2 squares weapon on the cover in 1900. Nice, Renee, love it. Another fan of Loyalty Bookstore, love it. Hey, Michael,
Hey,
how's it going?
I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Rereading Dahlgren. Nice. Love it. Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot of um good options. I think this is part of what I like too about like Tor.com is I think they do a pretty good job of um publishing a pretty diverse range of
Yeah,
authors, you know.
I will agree with that. There were some books that I had that I mean, I don't really pay attention to publishers.
Hmm.
I just since HarperCollins, that's when I really started to like pay attention to who's doing what. Um, Penguin Random House just basically owns everything, I feel, anyway.
They own a lot.
So, that's just very common, but when the strike happened and we weren't really going through, HarperCollins stuff, that's when I really started to pay attention, and I was like, "Oh, wow, I do own a lot of tour books."
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, they're good.
No, I did get hired there a long time ago.
That's exciting.
I worked there for not even a semester.
Oh wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was interesting. That's all I'll say.
Interesting. Okay. Oh goodness. You know what? Actually, too, they're I think just starting to again do more in-person book events. Like I got invited to an in-person thing with Penguin Teen.
Nice.
Yeah, which is exciting. I haven't really seen a lot of that kind of stuff like in the publisher offices happening since COVID.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Wow. I've gotten no invitations.
I mean, I live in New York
I
City, so like I think it's probably
know. It makes sense.
I mean, like, I'm sure they know I'm local and it's, like, at their office, so but
And
yeah.
I mean, would I travel for that? It depends. I mean, it's just a train ride away.
Fair point.
You know, what
Well, you
for
can always,
taking
email
Bella?
email James if you're on the Penguin Teen influencer list.
I am not.
Well, maybe you should
I
I don't know how much YA you're reading these days, Erica, but you could always
To be honest, not a lot. Ashley and I had the conversation. Um, I have not I mean, I'll still read YA, but
Mm,
I'm having a hard time with it. Like,
mm,
it's not hitting me in the feels.
yeah.
So,
I've gotten pickier about what I
mhm,
will read. That's why
yeah.
I think there's some good stuff though, but it's
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I was Darcy Little Badger, and I felt really bad. The one that was the all library book, all access, I don't know what it's called, but, um, like, they had unlimited, e-copies of it. What's their second book?
When the
Um,
snake fell from heaven.
yeah, When the Snake Fell from Heaven.
Mhm.
I tried very, very hard to read that, and
Yeah,
I
I
could
don't think it's as strong as her debut, to be honest. Like, I think it's interesting, but it's a little, uh yeah, I mean, I can understand why you might struggle with that one. Like, I liked it. A Snake Falls thank you, A Snake Falls Short.
oh,
Thank you,
sorry.
Christopher. Like, I liked it, and it's interesting, but, like, it's also stylistically I can see why people might struggle with it.
It seems a little not a little, a lot stream of consciousness type of
Yeah.
writing to me,
Mhm.
and I hate I'm not gonna I'm not gonna mince the words. I hate stream of consciousness. I
Her first book is not like that.
No, it's not. I mean, I didn't finish reading that, something else I don't know what happened, but I think I had
Mhm.
to get back to the library, and, I waited, uh, too long to, like, get to it, but anywho's, um, I was enjoying it,
Mhm.
and I just need to, like, check it out again and finish it,
Yeah.
but I was enjoying it, definitely not the same.
No.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you tell me it's stream of consciousness, it's a hard pass.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, I think what it's trying to do is, like, fall into oral storytelling traditions. Like, I think
Mhm.
that's what that book is trying to do, but I don't know, like, in written form if it necessarily I almost wonder if the audiobook would be better depending on the narrator because I think that was the idea, you know?
Okay.
And sometimes stuff like that, like things that are written almost for like oral storytelling, don't always hit as well in written form.
Right.
Just, I don't know.
I mean, it's a thought.
Yeah,
It's a thought.
it's a thought. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're working on a special edition. I wouldn't be shocked. It could be in
Oh,
negotiations.
It's May 30th, they said on the interwebs.
Well, it says July 11th for the UK though.
Oh, that's what okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
I was a tour girly in high school, college, but was shocked to find I only had 3 on my physical TBR. Wow. But a lot of Orbit. Orbit is good too. I like Orbit. I saw something come across my feed about YA sales being down as a category. Yes.
Mhm.
I don't think it's caught. So I think YA used to a large percentage of YA sales used to be adult readers, not teenagers. And I think they're finding that adult readers are reading less YA.
Yeah.
So I think that is part of it. Part of it is cost, part of it is with recession and inflation, people aren't buying as many books.
Mhm.
But part of it is also that the adult readers that used to be reading a lot of YA are not reading as
Yeah.
much of it.
And we just had a conversation, my teen librarian and I, we just had a conversation about that very thing today, and
Mhm,
that's our teen section is super small,
mm,
and she was saying we need to expand it, but they were telling her, "No, because sales for YA are down and blah, 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 blah," and she was like, "Well, we at least need the popular titles."
yeah,
So, but yeah, it's a problem.
yeah. And YA did get oversaturated. Well, it had a bit. I think the thing is like it had a big boom. It sold so much that editors started acquiring a ton, and it got oversaturated, and now it's kind of like pulling back. Plus, there's a recession, so I think
Mhm.
that's part of it. Notice YA authors moving to adults. Yeah, I think some are trying to. I've also seen some adult writers try to write YA, so there's been like quite a bit of crossover that's been interesting. I do think YA authors writing adult, it has been a mixed bag. I've seen some people do it well, and I've seen some people really bomb it. So we'll see how that goes.
Like,
Uh,
and then I also feel like the adult authors that are writing YA, I kind of I wonder, I have not
mhm,
read, but I wonder if it's going to read YA or if it's
mm,
going to read more new adult.
yeah, because there is definitely like upper YA crossover, and
Mhm.
then there's things that I feel like are actually written for teenagers, and so that's kind of interesting. It's interesting to see that. I see some of both, but
Yeah, you've read,
yes.
what's the one, Alexis Henderson, the second one, House of Hunger? Did you
It's
read
adult, it's not YA.
Yeah, I know. Did you read,
Yeah.
Year of the Witching as well, or no?
It also was adult, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
a lot of people classify it as
Thought it was
YA.
YA,
I
yeah.
was like, it's not.
It's not. I think but you know what? It's probably because women writing sci-fi, fantasy, horror, like,
Mhm.
frequently that happens where people just assume it's
Yeah,
YA when it's not, which is annoying, but
or if there's a teen character
mhm.
in it, they assume that it's YA.
Which is not even a teen character anyway, but yeah, it's
She's 16.
they're
She's
in their 20s. They're in their 20s, like, in their early 20s.
in House of Hunger, but,
Yeah. The
The
Year of
Year
the
of the Witching,
Witching?
they're 14 and 15.
No.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. I
Okay,
I
interesting.
could
Well, it definitely doesn't read like YA to me,
No,
but
it
I
doesn't,
don't
and I
that's
think that's
interesting.
because I was having a conversation with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, it's teen," and I was like, "Just because it has a teen character in it? No."
It's not, yeah. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
They don't do that to men who write teen characters as much, though.
No. But why would they?
It's
That's
annoying.
just
Um, yeah. There is some YA that I think is, like, crossover where I'm like, this easily could have been aged up slightly and been sold as adults.
Mhm.
Um, like I think Iron Widow is a good example of that. To be honest, I kind of wish it was adult because I would like to see it the romance aged up a little bit in that book.
Okay.
I would read. I mean, it's a great book, as it is, but I think it could have very easily been aged up. And I think she originally had written it to be more mature the way
Okay.
the romance was handled and then kind of scaled it back. But yeah, that's why I try to point out when I do read something that I'm like, this is a good book for actual teenagers. So,
Okay. I had to look it up. Emmanuel, the main character, is 17. Sorry.
okay. I was like, really? 15? Okay,
Okay.
that I believe. I believe that. Yeah.
17.
Okay.
That's my fault.
Yeah,
I could
that's
have
okay.
sworn I saw.
I mean, it's still young, but yeah, Renee, I agree. Iron Widow, I think, would make more sense as adult. I mean, I love it. It was one of my favorite books the year that I read it, but I like, yeah, that's one way to do a love triangle. Yes. Could be wrong, but I think there's a difference in YA in general and YA fantasy. Yeah, yeah. But I also think there's like horror and mystery thrillers. There's a mix. Like some of them are written for older audiences and some are written for younger. Um, yeah. Like, okay, well, like one of my favorite books that I've read so far, right, is YA this year. It's older. It reads older. Delicious Monsters. I mean,
Oh, I've seen that. I want to read that.
it's so good. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's really, really good horror, but like it's definitely on the upper end of YA, I would say.
And I love that cover.
It's a good cover. It's such a good book.
I read the summary and I was like, "I wanna read that."
Yeah, I think you'd like it. It's great. I feel like the problem with YA tends to be a lot of characters are 16 or up, which alienates a lot of the audience. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think when I don't know about that because I do think when I was young, I liked reading about characters a few years older than myself. I think there's something appealing about that sometimes when you're
I
in that age range.
I think and one of the things that the teen librarian and I were talking about Ashley has also talked about this too, that YA there's a group of like, you're moving from young readers and into YA, and then there's that age group, the 12 to 14
Yeah,
age group that doesn't have
as much.
anything to read, and, like, there's too much content
Mhm.
that's not age appropriate for the 12 to 14-year-old group, so, um that and that's another I think that's probably another reason why YA sales are dropping, because they're missing out on that one
Yeah.
age group, but definitely because adults are moving to adult books.
Yeah, I think that's not true. I do think there are some middle grade series that read older
Mhm.
that I think because that's the thing too is sometimes there can be middle grade that starts a little young and then really ages up through a
Yeah.
series where you could hand it to like there's like for instance like the Keeper of the Lost City series is fun, but I wouldn't give it to an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, like yeah, 11, 12, sure. But like yeah, it's interesting. What do we have? Yeah, exactly this, Renee. I never wanted to read a character even 1 year younger. I would be like, she's 13, a child, when I was 14. Yes, yes, exactly. Um, yeah, this is exactly what I was saying. Yeah, why middle grade has picked up. Now there's a lot of older middle grade that's bridging that gap. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yep, yep. And then you have some middle grade books I'm reading and enjoying, but I'm like, is this appropriate for kids? Yeah. I mean, I think it's tricky. Um, because middle grade, right, is like 8 to 12,
Well,
and there is a lot of development that takes place in those years. I have a kid who's almost 9 who's, like, reading middle grade books, and so I'm kind of like and I also think one thing that I do think is true is I think a lot of adults who don't interact with children that age underestimate kids a lot.
mhm.
Like, like, they're thinking about and able to process a lot more than I think people sometimes give them credit for. Um, yeah. So I mean, like there is something to like making things age appropriate, but I do think I do think a lot of times adults kind of underestimate what what fits at various ages.
But I think we also forget that kids that age are developing their critical thinking skills too.
Yeah.
They're really honing in on that, so
Yep.
and we need to make sure that we're helping them develop that, which
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna get into that.
Yeah, this is true too. There are older 8-year-olds and younger 12-year-olds that mature differently. And it's also true that
Mhm.
people have different life experiences.
Yeah.
And I think like the concept of books as mirrors and windows is really important too, that like kids can see themselves, but also can see other people's experiences that might be different from their own. Yeah. Yeah, kids have to deal with and handle dark stuff too, and books can help them process. Yeah, exactly. Um, I mean, honestly, like I talk to my kids about a lot of really like we talk about a lot of pretty serious stuff. Like, I don't know, like in, not all the time and in age appropriate ways, but um yeah.
I I don't I forgot what I was gonna say, never mind.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think there are things too that you kind of that like some parents have to talk about that others don't. I mean, like we talk about things like issues with the police, for instance, right? Like that, like those are things I'm talking to my kids about, and like public behavior and things that are and are not safe for them, right? Like there's
Mm,
some like heavy stuff with that we talk about. Um and how like race impacts that and stuff. So I don't know. I just think, and then yeah, I could go the whole thing about that, but like there's a lot of things that are important.
yeah. I mean, and I don't wanna say because you live in a major metropolis that you really have to have those conversations. I mean, you have to have those conversations with your children regardless of where you live.
Yeah.
But I find that when you live in a major metropolis, our kids develop a lot faster, and
Yeah.
we can't their bubbles aren't as protected.
Yeah. I mean, I think to a certain extent, I also think like having um, like raising biracial kids, um there's specific concerns, and like and part of it comes
Mhm,
down to even things like why we make certain choices about that, like they're not allowed to play with toy guns for very
mhm.
specific reasons that we talk about.
Right,
Like,
right.
like, and well, why are such and such of my friends doing it? I'm like, Yeah, I'm sure you have friends. Like, are most of those friends white? Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry. Yeah, no, we can't, we're not doing that.
There are different and that's what I mean, like, there are different consequences
Yeah.
that unfortunately are pervasive
Yeah.
for different groups
Yeah.
of people,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we have to teach those things, and especially, again, living in a major metropolis, that it's I don't wanna say that it is different. It is different than if you live in the burbs.
Yeah.
Um, do you come across the same things? Absolutely, 100%, but it's also a different degree
Right.
to which you encounter those things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. 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 So I don't know. I think I just think it's fun and interesting. It's like when I see parents like kids shouldn't have to deal with this stuff. I'm like, listen, if my kids and other people's kids can be talking and having to learn about and deal with the stuff when they're like 5 years old,
mhm,
so can yours. I don't know.
right,
I just
and see, again, that comes with a certain level of privilege,
yeah.
not having to have those conversations. So and no child should have to have that conversation, plain and simple. But because of what we go through on a daily basis,
Yeah.
we have to have those conversations.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all of the kids in pre-K are doing active shooter drills at
Yeah.
school. So it's like I don't know, like I just think the kids there's a lot that they're dealing with. I don't know.
And they have better cognitive function, like you said, than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
And
Like
they
they're
can
not fully developed, but they
they
can
can
process a lot.
yeah, they can and they know how to filter.
Hmm.
So they if they don't understand, you'll see the glazed look on their face,
Hmm.
and you'll know that they don't quite get it, and it's something
Yep.
that you'll have to revisit.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, this is true. It depends on the child, but I think the thing is too is it's like to some extent if you treat your kids like or your kid not even your kids, but like if you treat kids like they're capable of thinking and understanding complex things, they
Mhm.
will generally rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Like I think part of it is like I don't know. I like one thing that I appreciate that my parents used to say that I think I kind of guides how I handle stuff is that they would say that like they're not raising kids, they're raising adults. You
Mhm.
know, that like like I think sometimes there are some parents who can get a little precious about just wanting to like constantly hold on to their kids as kids instead of recognizing that like part of what you're doing is preparing them to hopefully be like stable, functioning adults who
Yeah.
contribute positively to society. And so, like, I try to always have in the back of my mind, like, they're, like in our care for the short number of years. And hopefully, like, we can give them the skills and understanding and
Mhm.
things that they need by the time they leave, that they can be the people I
Yeah.
hope they would be.
And I was at work one day, and this mother was with her son, and they were having this conversation about appropriate touch. And I was
Yeah.
like and she was like and he said something, and he was like, "So, if someone touches me like this, is that okay?" And she was like, "It depends."
Hmm.
You know? And I was like, I love that she's teaching him autonomy
Hmm.
and what's right, what's appropriate for him. What's appropriate touch for you may not be appropriate touch for someone else. And we have to recognize that. And I think
Yeah.
having these conversations and allowing kids to formulate what's good for them and what's not is important. So she's
Mhm.
guiding him, and I was like, this is great. And we're not the vast majority of us don't have those conversations, you know?
It's so important. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think from like very, very early ages, you can start to have appropriate conversations about consent when it's just things like hugs and tickling of
Mhm.
like, you say no, I stop.
Mhm.
Somebody else doesn't look like they like what you're doing, you stop. Like
Right.
it starts with these like small building blocks where you can then grow to talk more about
Mhm.
like things about consent and like also too that like there are things that adults can consent to with other adults that children cannot
Not
consent to.
yeah, and I think and I knew that's where she was going with it depends.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, and like that's the thing I've tried. It's like these are things that an adult can consent to if it's another
mhm.
adult. This is not a thing that a kid can ever consent to,
Yeah,
regardless. Like it shouldn't. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. Yep. Oh, goodness. Yeah. The ironic part is certain people have no problem exposing kids to dark stuff via religion, but when it comes to talk about stuff that's applicable to their lives, they put up a fuss. Listen, the
Yeah.
number of things I read in Genesis in the Bible when I was far too young,
Okay,
y'all.
so
There's
so
a lot.
the Bible My father is a minister. I grew up in the church, not a
Mhm,
problem.
mhm,
But we weren't he was not a Bible thumper,
mhm.
whatever. Um, but the things that I read in the Bible, not age appropriate.
No. I mean, like, Genesis has, like, sexual assaults and incest and, like, prostitutes and murder and,
Murder.
like, I mean, it's a lot. Like,
It's
there's a lot in
I mean,
Genesis.
but the thing okay, the thing about it is some of our religious zealots out there that are in office,
Mhm.
and they're saying these things are not Christian, and I'm like, wait a minute, have you read? Have you really read?
I mean, a lot of people have it. That's the thing. Like, I'm a book nerd, and when I got in trouble, I would get grounded from my library books, and I could only read the Bible. So
Uh-huh,
I read the Bible.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was just like,
Oh, yeah,
"Ooh."
this is the Bible. Oh, yeah, graphic descriptions of the crucifixion, yeah. No, see, I, like, read the Bible myself, which I guess my parents didn't, like, think about that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Um, so oh, yeah, all kinds of stuff, man.
I mean,
It's a lot.
the Bible has everything in it that they want to ban
Mhm.
in books.
Yep, pretty much. Yes, there are some great kids' books about body autonomy and consent. Yeah, it's
Mhm. There are
so important.
yeah.
Well, and it's important for them to set their boundaries, but also I want my kids to know that they have to respect other people's boundaries as well. Because I think, like, yes, you teach them uh that, like, people shouldn't violate their boundaries, but
Yeah,
also,
you
like,
you can't do that to other
you
people.
can't do that to other people. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. So, which, like, you don't wanna squash it, but I think a good way to put it, which is, like, what we do, like, I try to do is, like, "Okay, hugs are nice, but did you ask them if they would like a hug? Because if they s you need to, like, get the other person's consent before you're hugging
yeah.
them, not just do it." But yeah. Oh, yeah, Song of Solomon. Man, listen, when we were in middle school, be like everybody would be giggling over Song of Solomon. I went to, like, a Christian school in middle school. We were like, "Ooh," like, giggling over that. Oh god.
So paramedic, yeah.
Of
What?
course.
They showed the Statue of David in
Statue of
class.
David.
What? I mean, what?
I wonder what the age group was, though. Like,
Yeah.
in high school or, like, in elementary school? I don't know. It's, like, 2 very different things, I guess.
I
That's
mean, but
interesting.
it's the Statue of David. Who hasn't seen it?
Did you read the version of
Yeah.
the Bible that had you Uh, no, but there are, like, dragons, so, you know. Yeah, also this, Ecclesiastes is all about how nothing matters and then you die. Y'all, having young children reading the Bible cover to cover is, like, probably not a great choice for their
It's not a
mental
good
health,
idea.
like, let's be real.
I
Like,
remember going to Sunday school and the lessons, and I'm like and even then, I was like, this is all of this is problematic. You're making it
mhm,
fun for kids. You're doing little
mhm.
projects and stuff, but still, it's What's
Well, when I was in 5th grade, they showed us these super disturbing, like, rapture films from, like, the '70s where they used a guillotine to behead Christians. I had nightmares. I was in 5th grade. I was so
Bethany?
yeah, I had, like, a lot of, like, childhood religious trauma, like,
Oh
it's a
my god.
lot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
That what?
yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, like, all the Christians were, like, so the Christians originally were raptured, and then some people converted, but they said, "Oh, if you say that you believe in God, we're gonna kill you." So they would, like, guillotine them, and, like, the Antichrist people sort of looked like communists because it was made in the 70s, you know? Yeah, it was, very disturbing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so mhm,
So this reminds me, what was that? Oh my gosh, this minister many, many moons ago. I mean, like puritanical ministers. I can't think of his name, but they preached back in the day when kids dressed as like little adults. Um,
mhm,
fire and brimstone
mhm.
sermons. That sounds like what you were going through. Like,
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of, like, end times stuff and, like, there was a lot of fear,
yeah,
like, they would do a lot of sermons too on, like, this parable Jesus told about, like, um, uh, brides who were waiting for the bridegroom and were supposed to keep their lamps full of oil, and, like, some of them kept them full and some of them didn't, and then he came and the ones who didn't were cast out into darkness, and so it
yeah.
was always, like, about, like, you have to always be prepared because any moment God could return. What are you doing in every moment? So it was, like, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, yeah.
But you grew up evangelical,
I
right?
grew up evangelical.
Okay.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. It was there were listen, I could go on.
I mean, I don't want to because there's a theme within Christianity that mm, I don't well, yeah, we'll just say what it is. There's a precedent for teaching fear.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're not prepared,
Mhm.
then you'll be cast out and whatever, whatever. And I remember thinking that that's not what this is about or what this should be about. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Keep your oil, ladies.
yeah, Beth, Cotton Mather. That's exact
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
Cotton Mather.
Beth, when I think of oil, I do not think of purity.
I mean, there's that.
Well, it wasn't talked so much about as, like, pure I mean, maybe that was what they were trying to get at, but, like, I didn't take it as, like, purity, but more just at, like, always being, like, ready for Jesus to return, because like, you don't wanna be the person who, when Jesus comes back, is sinning or is, like, holding hate in your heart or whatever, like, whatever the thing was, and so it's like you're constantly like, examining yourself for,
Yeah,
like, what hidden sin do I have that I need to confess and, like, fix? Because like, there's always something wrong with you, like, I don't know, it's a lot, um, especially for a person who, like, because like, I have an anxiety disorder too, and, like, I mean, growing up like this I'm sure did not help that, or maybe it caused it, I don't know.
hopefully it didn't cause it. Dude, I can see how watching a film of being beheaded would cause
It was very disturbing. I'm like, why did our Sunday school teacher think it was a good idea to show this to a bunch of 10-year-olds? Like, really? That was what you thought was a good idea? It was, yeah.
because they wanted to sow fear in you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's the problem is too is that the Bible is also uh was written by many people over many years
Mhm.
in very different cultures and circumstances, and it's not Um, a lot of it also isn't literal. Like a lot of
Mhm.
it is poetic and metaphoric, and
Yeah.
like people can read the same thing and interpret it in vastly different ways.
And then we have to remember that
Yes,
it
Emily, this.
what
It scared the crap out of me too. Two people will be standing in a field, one will poof into nothingness. Yeah, because it would be like two women will be working side by side. One will be taken, the other will be left behind. It was so scary. And like I know what like I had like a moment where for some reason my parents had like left the house because they had to go do something, and so I was home alone and didn't know where they had gone, and I was terrified that like the rapture had happened and I'd been left behind and my whole family had been taken up to heaven. Like I mean it's like, and I feel like that is like not an uncommon thing I hear from evangelical kids. Like
Mm.
it's scary. Yeah. Oh yeah. I treat Bible stories like other mythologies. They're great stories that are kid appropriate, and there are others that need to wait. Like I wouldn't read that Oedipus story to my 8-year-old. Yeah, that's fair. My favorite was my mom telling me oh yes, the unforgivable sin, blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. That freaked me out too, because how do you know if you've done it? Because
Yeah.
nobody knew how to define it. And like, what if I've done the unforgivable sin? Oh no. Y'all, listen.
I the number of times as I've looked up what is blaspheming. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. What? The nuns, oh no, the nuns said we were all Capri Suns and no one wanted one that already had a straw put through it. Oh god. Ugh. All the allegories for purity. Gross. No. Heaven was, oh yes, like Jehovah, because Jehovah's Witness, they believe that only like 10,000 people can
Doesn't.
go to heaven. Yeah. This is interesting. I do think it's a very American phenomenon because, like in Latin America, I would say it's even more religious, but people are pro-choice and more sexually open. Yeah, well, I think it it is partly the Puritan roots
Mhm.
of America. I think have led to like evangelicalism and other similar things becoming more um, the focus. So I'm sure there's like historical precedent for that. Yes, the Bible is not one book, it's a codex of many books spanning many genres written over 7 to 800 years. Yes,
Yep.
exactly that. Exactly that.
And let's not forget who the Bible was translated for. It it wasn't translated for the average everyday Joe.
Well,
It
also it was translated with an agenda
Yeah,
by the ruler of the time who had some specific things that he did and didn't want to see. So
yeah.
there I will say I've seen some really interesting stuff um talking about people who are taking a look back at like trying to make better translations because there yeah, okay. This is not what this live stream is about.
I know.
But like okay, like one small example of this, right? Like things that are interesting translation choices. Um in most English translations of the Bible, the pronouns used for God, Jesus, Holy Spirit are he.
Mhm.
However, in the original languages, pronouns used for God include he, she, and they,
Yeah.
depending on the context. So like one could say God is depicted as gender fluid at best, and like things like that, right? Like the choice to use male pronouns when that's not actually like what was necessarily called for in the text, which is interesting. Um, or the fact that there's a person, oh, and now her name is going to escape me. Yes, maybe someone will know it. I think it starts with J, but there's somebody in the New Testament who is mentioned in letters from Paul, who in a lot of the translations is referred to as just like a teacher or a helper or like something kind of vague because she was a woman, but in the original she was actually an apostle.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of her name.
Junia? I think it's Junia.
Can't think of her name.
Things like that. So like there's a lot of things in like the translations have an agenda, and yeah. So anyway.
And
There you go. Yes, 10,000 is not a lot at all.
considering we are severely
Yes, thank
overpopulated.
you, Lexi. The word for spirit in Greek is feminine, so it is correct to refer to the Holy Spirit as she. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of imagery used for God that is more feminine, of like God as a mother hen cradling her chicks under her wing, things like that. Like there is a lot of like feminine imagery.
Yeah, it's Junia.
It's June, yeah, not Lydia, it's Junia. Yeah. So Junia was an apostle, but a lot of the English translations don't use the word apostle because she's a woman. So, that's part of the problem, is like there's a lot of misogyny woven into the way things have been translated and the way things have been interpreted. So, yeah.
And it was, as I tell people, some people maybe disagree with me about this, but I feel like the Bible and religion to some degree is a way of not a way, but it is a means of oppression.
Mhm.
And we're literally seeing that right now. But anyways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and I think things like that's why I loved Jesus and John Wayne. I read last year. It's excellent.
mhm.
And it's like a history of American evangelicalism from the early 1900s through the early Trump years. And I think it does a really great job of unpacking some of that and how there were specific choices made and how to frame things that got us where we are today.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. Exactly. Why have you never heard of Junia? That is, yes. That is a great question. Oh, this is interesting. In the wisdom literature, yeah, wisdom is personified as a woman begotten by God and shares a lot of parallels to Jesus. By the time we get to John, wisdom feminine becomes logos masculine. That's so interesting. Thank you, Lexi. Yeah, I love this stuff. Yeah. This is why it's hard. It's like I have a lot of issues now with like the church.
Mhm.
Um, not with Jesus. Like, I think Jesus stood for a lot of the same things that I believe in, um, and find valuable. But that's very different from like the church and the history of theology and the direction that it's taken. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, because the church and the messenger can be the problem.
Hmm.
And I find oftentimes that is the case in how the message is delivered, because undoubtedly people are going to interpret the way that suits them. And
Yeah. Well, and
um,
everything is like functions as becomes functioning as a power structure,
yeah,
which tends to then embody a lot of the same biases you see in other power structures in
right.
the world.
So um,
Yeah.
it's just it can be very problematic. Not can be, it is. What am I talking about? It is.
Yeah. And I think people are starting to unpack some of that, which I think is good.
Yeah, hopefully.
At least some people are.
And then there are others that are digging deep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, shall we sprint?
Yes. Maybe let's do one last sprint. It's like this is always what happens, honestly. I feel like I end up doing like maybe two and mostly just talking about whatever topic. And so
And That's good. I mean, we went down the rabbit hole of religion, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's interesting how we segued there, though.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from originally, but I mean, I have plenty to say about it, so
I
it's
mean,
fine.
we we were talking about kids and consent, and then we went
Mm,
we went
listen.
there, which is which is fine. It's a good conversation.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. It's good. All right, no worries. Have a good night. All right, so we will do another 30-minute sprint and then probably wrap things up because it's like 11 o'clock for us. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right,
All
we'll see
right.
y'all in 30.
Okay.
All right. How did everybody do?
I read 20 pages.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I read a good bit. I think I might DNF this book.
Oh no!
I think it's not really. I didn't realize it was going to have like a time travel component, which I'm a hard sell on, and like the time period of the historical fiction that it's doing is. And then I was like, I thought we got to a point. I mean, I'm not that far in. I'm like less than 50 pages, but I was like, got to a point where I was like, I think I know what's going to happen. So I was like, let me flip to the end and see if I'm right. And I was right. I was like, yeah, I don't think.
So you said you were less than 50 pages in?
Yeah.
And you figured it out?
Yeah, I'm like 45 pages in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the writing
The
okay?
writing's it's fine. Like it's not really my. This is a book that I think some people will love. Like I think if it's checking their boxes, I
Okay.
could see people liking this, but it's like it's doing several things that are like not really my thing
Okay.
already. And so I'm like, and some of which I didn't know, and I just don't think it's for me. So,
Okay.
so
I mean, well, DNF it.
yeah, I will. Maybe somebody else can. I mean, I think I did say circus books were hit and miss for me.
Yeah.
That is, which book is it? It's The First Bright Thing by J.R. Dawson. It's coming out this summer. Listen, like I'm not a big fan of like World War I and II historical fiction, which this is a fantasy version of that. Circus books, sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. This is kind of a circus book. Also, time travel books, I'm very much a hard sell on, and it's got time travel in it. So, like, I just think it's not.
So, and just curious,
Mhm.
this is one time travel book that just pops in my head. Have you read Kindred? Octavia Butler?
Yes. Yes.
Had it
That one's, I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's not like the time travel is not the point of the book.
Right, right.
And it's not, it's using it as like a way to talk about other stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
see, you like a good time travel. I just, it's not my favorite, but a lot of people love it, that's why I'm saying, like, I think there are people who will be very into this. Um, but I kind of also saw it was like, okay, I see where this is going, and I don't think I care that much. Let me see if I'm right or if something's different than what I expected. So I like kind of skimmed the end of it, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty much what I expected, and am not invested enough to read the whole book.
Right.
So.
So, just a question.
Mhm.
Because okay, so you started reading it.
Mhm.
If you are at a bookstore
Yeah.
and you're trying to decide on whether or not you're gonna buy the book,
Yeah.
do you ever, like, say, "Okay, I'm gonna read something," and maybe, like, flip to the end or, like, go through different parts of the book and maybe
No, not usually. Usually the only time that I do this is if I'm deciding if I want to DNF something.
Okay,
Um, but like buying something, I will read reviews
okay.
of it before I buy it. if I don't already know if I want it or if it's an author I trust or whatever. I will like check Goodreads and see like what did people I know say about it.
Yeah. I I will, like, read the end of the people don't understand. I'm like, if the end sounds like it's
Hmm.
then I'm gonna
Yeah,
give it a go.
yeah.
Um, people don't understand that. I
No,
do
I think that's valid, you know?
I do read the end of a book.
Yeah. I think it's okay. Yeah, I don't it's not something I do all the time, but it is sometimes a way that I'll sort of like check with myself of like, am I sure this is something that I don't really want to keep reading? So, yes,
Yeah,
DNFing is an important part of bookish life. I do
it
agree with
is.
that. It is. It's true. So,
There are so many of us, and I am a DNFer for sure.
mm,
Um, so many of us that don't DNF.
yeah. Yeah,
And
I'd
someone
rather be split and get to decide than blindsided. Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I like sometimes there are books that I'm like, it's not a bad book. It's just like not a me book.
Mhm.
And that's how I feel about this. It's one of those things where I'm like, I think if this is people's buzzwords, they might be really into it. It's funny because I look at the reviews and people are like, I was sobbing. And I was like, oh, okay.
On this book?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I just, yeah, it's not, it's fine. Um, I used to read the end first all the time. Not sure when I stopped doing that. That's interesting.
So, since we're on
Nice.
the topic of kind of on the topic of DNFing,
Mhm.
um, if you had not jumped to the end and you weren't feeling the if you weren't vibing with it,
Mhm.
um, what's your page or percent that you decide you're gonna
Uh, it depends. Like I will usually try to give a book 30% or 50 pages.
Mhm.
However, I will DNF earlier
Okay.
if it's really bad.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I know very quickly. Like I have DNF'd within a couple chapters in some extreme cases. But yeah, usually 30% or 50 pages, depending on the length of the book.
Yeah. Mine is 25%.
Mm,
I feel like that's a good track for me.
yeah, yeah, I think that's fair. There are times where I'm like, oh no, I'm not reading any more of this book,
Yeah.
like, so that does happen, and I don't have a problem with that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I had a book recently that I DNF'd at the beginning of chapter two.
Yeah. I mean, when you're DNFing that early, and especially if the chapters are not long,
If
that's
it's something like that, it's usually because it's like offensive.
Mhm.
Which was definitely the case here. Yeah.
Yeah. I really do wish more people would DNF
Yeah.
instead of, like, trudging through and saying, "It was a horrible reading experience. I was hoping it would get better."
Yeah.
And I get that. We always hope that it gets better, but it's
Mm,
like watching a train crash. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, no. I feel like if you have the first 100 pages to get me involved, nothing happens in those pages, I have to DNF. I try to give it a good shot. Yeah, that's fair.
Mhm,
I think it also just depends on like the length of the book and how hard it is for me to get through.
mhm.
Um, like if I'm really struggling, it's not. Yeah, whereas like this, and sometimes I will give it a long time because I have also DNF'd things at like 60%. where it's like I keep trying, hoping it'll get better, and I finally hit a point where I was like, okay, no, I just
Yeah.
can't. So,
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah.
I feel that with my whole heart. I have so many books I've DNF'd. So many. And they're still sitting here. Why?
Oh, not me. It's like if I DNF them, they're leaving.
Well, I just went I told you this earlier. I went to the bookstore, and the reason why I went to the bookstore was to find out if they were doing book buybacks, and, they're not. So, it's strictly donations right now, and I'm like, I have too many books, and I want
Yeah.
a little bit of money for them."
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So, I am there's another used bookstore that
Mhm.
they do book buybacks, but it's a little farther away, and I have to make the determination as to whether or not making that drive is worth, like, getting what I'm gonna get for them.
Right.
So, I shouldn't even say that, it's not that far. It's farther away, yes, but it's only, like, maybe another 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes
Yeah, still.
away, but yeah, so anyways, we'll see.
Yeah.
But they gotta get out of here.
They set up the label for you, really?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Um, I do have Pango, and they are on Pango. Um, they're not I mean, they sell sporadically.
Mhm.
Um,
I wonder if I should try that. I haven't used Pango, and
yeah,
because it seems like a lot of trouble, but
it really isn't. You take a picture of the book and you scan the barcode, and then it comes up. It's really simple. It comes up whether or not that's the book that you want, and then it preloads the summary, and it preloads,
oh.
um, what do you call it? Hashtags. So you
Oh,
can
that's
select the
cool.
hashtags, or you can add your own hashtags. You can add, um you can add any other information that you want, but the summary is already in there, and
Wow.
yeah, so all you're really doing is taking the picture and setting your price point, and if you want to, like, set it for a sale or a discount or free shipping or something like that.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
Maybe I should look into that.
yeah, it literally, I would say, a book maybe takes you 30 seconds to set up, like, picture,
Huh,
setting your price point and your hashtags and all of that, maybe 30 seconds.
okay. I might need to do this because I have a lot of books because I haven't taken the time to like go to my local bookstore to sell anything in a while. So I have a
Yeah,
lot of stuff sitting in my closet. And I have some nice things too
yeah,
that I
and
just don't need anymore.
one of the things that I was gonna try and do.
Get a Pico sponsorship. Do they sponsor
Mm,
people?
they do, they do.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of booktubers, I haven't seen seen them in a while, but yeah, you could probably get that. So I would look into it.
I
But,
didn't
like,
look
I've
into
seen
that.
people bundle books. It'll be, like, one listing, and they'll have, like, a bunch of books listed, and I
Mhm.
wanna do that. I have a bunch of ARCs here that I wanna, like, get rid of, but, like, the nearest little free library, honest to goodness, to me, is too far away. We
Mhm.
don't have them out here, and, I've given them to friends to take to their little free libraries,
Yeah.
That means meeting them, but anyways, I thought about, like, doing, like, a bundle and
Mhm.
just, like, trying to figure out how to do it for shipping,
Oh, yeah. Cool.
shipping only. But I think you have to, like, enter in a dollar amount, and I think the lowest dollar amount that you can enter is, like, a dollar.
Right.
So,
Which I think is fine.
yeah.
Well, this gives me some food for thought. I might have to look into
Yeah. When you do, I'm speaking it into existence. When you do, let me know because I wanna see what you've got.
Okay, I have a lot of stuff, so I don't know if I'd do it all at once, but
Oh, no,
yeah.
I've been doing this over months,
Mhm.
and, I mean, right now, I think I still have, like, less than 50 books on there, and there are a lot more in a corner that you shall never see. So
Yeah, I may do that because I also have like a couple special editions and stuff that I'm unhauling, and so.
really?
Mhm. I just like I don't have space on my shelves to keep everything,
Mhm.
and so it's like if I don't love something, I will. In fact, I'm even donating because like our um my kid's school is doing a fundraiser auction thing, asking people to donate. So like I'm donating one of my like signed special edition copies of Babel for,
Uh-huh.
for that, like because I bought like 3 copies of it, and I'm like I liked it okay, like fine, but like I don't need all. It's not like a favorite book for me. I don't need all of this. So
You're not, Jess.
yeah. Well, okay, okay. Y'all are selling me on this
Yeah,
idea.
that's true.
All
That's
right. All right, all right. I'll look into it because I mean, I do need to get rid of some of these books.
and and what you get, because I just sold let me see. I just sold a very old copy of and a mass market, We, by Yevgeny Zamyatin.
Hmm.
Um, it was $2. Let's see, $2 and no, it was $2.50. Platform fee for that was 50 cents, so I got $2. So, they don't it's not a lot for the platform fee.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So, um, I definitely recommend it. Should, um I should put more on there. A lot of my most of my stuff is backlist, obviously. And what I mean by backlist, I mean old.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely say give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Um, and classics that I don't want anymore.
Hmm.
I do, and I'm surprised because I have, the I Hate You Give and On the Come Up
Hmm.
because I don't need multiple editions of that.
Yeah.
And they're like 5 one is $5 and the other one is 9, and nobody wants it. It's like,
I wonder if they're kind of oversaturated.
um, they might be. Oh, and it tells you, like, if you put in a title, it tells you how many people
Are selling it?
are selling it.
Oh,
And then you
interesting.
can see, like, when you click on it, you can see, like, the prices and, try to be competitive.
Yeah.
So, um,
Interesting.
that's a good thing.
Okay. All right. Well, stay tuned, y'all. I'll
Yeah,
I'll probably be.
it's definitely oversaturated. There are 350 copies of The Hate You
Oh,
Give.
well,
So
that would explain it.
so definitely, and it's only $5. Somebody buy my book. Yeah. So there's that.
Cool. Well, thank you. That's helpful. All right. Well, it is like midnight here, y'all.
Yeah, it is.
So I think we'll end there. But thanks for hanging out with me, Erica.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for
Yeah.
having
And
me.
hey, you know what? At least I'm getting a book off my TBR shelf.
That is very true, and you can move on to the next one.
Exactly. That
So, are you
will
gonna
work
read
better for
for
me.
are you reading more for, Tor.comAthon and, um, Trans Rights Readathon together?
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing some stuff for Translators Readathon that's like not tour titles, but then some that is.
Oh,
So
okay.
like my current audiobook is both. Like I'm listening to Victory is Greater Than Death by Charlie Jane Anders, which is it's very fun. It's
Okay.
like tour teen. Um, so that one counts for both because she's trans. Um, so yeah, we'll see how many
Okay.
more things I can finish before it's over.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a suggestion. Have you read My Rainbow? It's a picture book.
Mm-mm.
So it's about this trans girl and her mother. She feels that she can't be fully a girl without long hair, and her mother does something for her. I don't want to tell
Okay.
you what it is
Mhm.
because it will just give it I mean, it says it in the summary what happens, but it's actually semi-autobiographical.
Oh,
So it's really cute.
okay.
And I
Cool.
and it's like very, very short. It's a picture book.
Yeah.
So, but if you want a quick read to
Mhm.
pull it out, there you
Okay.
have that.
Good to
And
know. Cool.
the art is beautiful too.
Nice.
So that was
Love
my
it.
first book.
Mm. Nice.
But anyways, okay, so
Yeah.
if you want to say goodnight, because I'll keep talking.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Have a great
All
night,
right, have a good
and
night,
we'll see you
everybody.
later. Bye.